Hello, welcome to KJ Badminton Parental Coffee Talk. Still remember the ecosystem we're trying to build? Three corners: the parent, the player, and the coach. Today we will focus on the coach corner. Choosing the right coach for the player is pivotal. It is very critical to get the right coach at the right age for the player. First thing first, we need to recognize that there are certain players or there are certain coaches. They are specialized. The way that they teach is actually producing the best result at a certain age group. So it's very easy to recognize because when you walk into a training center or a training academy, you actually see players at a certain age group that excel in competition. Let's say, for example, this Coach A is having a group of 11 to 13 year old, and that group is producing enormous results during the competition, and the other group of coach or their players are actually producing results in the age of 15, 16. So recognize that trend and go to the one that's more relevant to your kid. And of course, once we identify, hey, there are certain winning groups that we want to go try it out, there are also two different types of training classes that we want to pay attention to. Number one, it's the one-to-one class, and number two is the group class. The training itself is very different in nature. It is very different in objective, and of course, picking the right coach, the right group to go into for your kid, it's extremely important to make sure that the development is being seen and made forward. Let's talk about the one-to-one coach. First thing first, I do want to call out that there are certain parents that do not agree with one-to-one. What does that mean? Certain parents say that, hey, you don't need to spend money on a one-to-one coaching. That is just not going to help. So that's their belief. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for that. It's just that what do we produce at the end of the day? What do we see? So I'm sharing what my observation is. There are groups which they are doing well generally. They will be developing their kids without the one-to-one training. And eventually what I see them different than the other group with one-to-one training is the skill level. As of the hand control, the footwork, and so on, they might have their own expertise and what they're doing, but if you really look at the detail at the skill level, it is actually at a different par. That's my observation. Again, no wrong or right. I'm not here to offend anybody, but I do want to encourage the parents here who is listening and to try it out, to feel the difference of what a one-to-one training can actually help your kid. What do we really look for in a one-to-one training, a one-to-one badminton training class? First thing first, I would want to look for a coach that will be able to explain a reason why things are not working or working. Let's take some example. Hey, Mr. Coach, I can't do my lobbing all the way to the baseline. I'm struggling. Why? Am I not big enough? Am I not fast enough? What's the reason? I just don't know. I keep trying harder and harder. It just won't work. A good coach will be able to tell you why. And he will be able to fix you on the spot, right there in the next 10 minutes. Trust me, it is like that. So it is not about how big you are. It's not about how powerful your arm, your shoulders are. No, it is not. It's about the posture. Once you get the posture correct, then you're going to get your lobbing to the base. And certain people would have been struggling with backhands. Same thing. If you get the posture correct, you will be able to get it. But of course, backhands will need a lot of practice to get your muscle memory correct. That itself makes a difference between a more effective coach versus a less effective, or at least it will be producing results quicker with your kid. Second thing are details. I still remember there were classes where team went into some one-on-one classes. The coaches are just pushing and would want to, of course, they would want to ask for a higher quality shots. Okay, let's do some smashing training today, and there we go. Get to that spot. Team would jump and just trying to kill, but it didn't get to that spot on one thing. It doesn't have enough power. And all the coaches would say is, hey, you know what? Faster, quicker, harder, harder. What do you mean by harder? Am I supposed to bring a hammer to go and do that? No, it's all about explaining the detail. How do you get it right? Is your posture right? What is the reason of not getting that shots through? A good coach would be able to share with you in great detail why is that so, and give you a solution on the spot, and eventually, train more and make you more effective. I would also strongly recommend for a one-on-one coach who has been there, done that. For example, if you are targeting into going to a state team, find a one-to-one coach that has been into a state team before, at least in his or her age, national team level, or even international player that you are hoping your kids to be there. Very simple, very, very simple answer. Why? It's because they have been there, they know what it takes to get there. It's not that if this coach hasn't been there, hasn't done it, hasn't got an Olympic champion, they can't produce it. Many people will argue that. Yes, fine. I totally we agree with your argument. But again, if you really think deeper, it is a much quicker journey if the person has been there, done that, and actually would be able to guide you to the same path, at least based on his or her experience. Especially when you're learning basics, that is a very, very different story. That's a very, very different play compared to somebody who knows the big picture, who want to groom people, trying to chip in things and build the pyramid at the end of the day. That's a different stage of coaching. So for now, go for those that you feel comfortable, and of course for those who has the quote-unquote experience in actually delivering it. Find a coach that would be able to click. Find a coach that would be able to talk to your kid effectively, and most important part, your kid will respond, react positively to the input that the coach is guiding. Example, if the coach is actually pushing for a higher quality spin net, and the player or your kid is just not responding, it says don't understand, refuse to do it, for whatever reason. It could be, hey, two of them couldn't communicate well, two of them are not clicking, and whatever reason it is, pick one that will have able to click, and your kid would be able to be convinced and follow the teaching of the coach. So clicking is very, very important. If you don't click, you can't go a long way, right? Just a husband and a wife, we all know what we're talking about. Last but not least, find a coach that can teach with the heart. Find a coach that would teach or train with the objective to produce an ace player. Don't find those that come here, be there, when the time is up, they will wrap and go. How do we identify, hey, is this the right coach that actually teaching with his or her heart? Very easy, very, very easy. Be there during the training, observe, and see if the coach is actually getting a little bit agitated or a little bit angry at times. It's not because of their attitude, it's not because of their easy to get angriness. No, it's not. It's because when he's trying really hard, he really wants the kid to benefit from the session, but unfortunately it's not happening. And those coaches are teaching with the heart. You can easily tell if the coach would just come here. I've seen some coaches, okay, I kid you not, the coach is waiting in the court, the parent come and drop the kid for a one-to-one class, the parent goes off. Guess what happened? The coach threw a bunch of shuttles on the floor and asked the player to go and serve. Just serve. High serve, longer. Then what happened to the coach? The person would just sit, the coach, the so-called coach, shame on him, to sit on a bench there and start looking at the handphone. Swipe. That goes on for like a good 20 minutes out of an hour that they planned to do the training. Eventually, when the coach knows that, hey, you know what, the parent is coming back about After 45 minutes, the last 15 minutes, usually the parents are here. He will actually stand up and start doing his job. Okay, doing a little bit of shuttle feeding, give you a bit of guidance. Sit at home, rest, do your recovery. That's better than going to this kind of coaches. So be there, guys. Do not let your kid be alone in the training unless you really need to. At least be there with certain frequency of time to do check and balance, to make sure that things are really, really happening for the kids to improve. So I made a mistake in my case, so don't make the same mistake as I've done. I started my kids one-to-one class only at the age of 11, and that's the time where he is joining group after group after group. Is not getting the progress that we want to see, and the head coach decided to say that, you know what, you need some one-to-one lesson, go engage with this coach, please go do it. And that's the time we have started the one-to-one lesson. If we have started earlier, it could be a very different story. The hand would be different, the control of court would be different. The muscle memory is all fine-tuned at a much earlier stage compared to at the age of 11. We talk about muscle memory in another video. But again, coming back to the summary, number one, find a coach for one-to-one that can explain things with a reason. If you couldn't get a defense, why? Okay, if you couldn't get the quality, why? Explain with reason, with rational. Number two, know the details, the finest detail that's possible for you to understand how things work. These are all knowledge. You need the knowledge in order for you to progress. Number three, find a coach that has done that, been there before, at a goal, at least on par with the goal that you would want your kids to be at one day, because he or she can deliver more effectively by have done it before. Of course, number four, it's to click. If your kids couldn't click, they couldn't learn well. And number five, last but not least, is teach. The coach must teach with his or her heart. So with that, I've summarized it. All the best to your search in your one-to-one coach. Thank you. And if you have not done so, please subscribe, like, and share my video. For those of you who can think that this will help others to be successful, I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.